Hello, and if you're new here, welcome to the Canting Club. The unloved Carignan, the grape we have for you this week. 40 years ago, this was the most planted black grape in all of Europe, covering huge swathes of southern France and northern Spain. Even by the turn of the century, after 30 years of government incentives to grub it up and plant something else, this was still the #1 red grape in France. The reason for that extraordinary popularity is its extraordinary productivity. Given the chance, Carignan can produce more than 4 times as much wine per acre as, say, Cabernet Sauvignon. This made it very popular with the peasant farmers of France's Midi, today's Languedoc-Roussillon. The problem was that this is a very hard grape to get ripe, and if you don't ripen it properly, the ferocious acidity and hard, green, stalky tannins combine with the dilute fruit flavours caused by overcropping to produce wine that's really very nasty indeed. And this didn't matter if the EU were going to buy up any wine that you couldn't sell. And so Carignan formed the backbone of the EU's infamous wine lake. Any Carignan that was ripe enough to drink was used in blends, where it adds colour, acidity and tannin to softer, paler, fruitier varieties like Grenache. But old vine Carignan can, from the right sites and if you restrict the yields properly, produce some really lovely wine. And today in the Languedoc, a new breed of winemaker is championing this much maligned variety and even making unblended single varietal wine out of it. And this is one of those. Produced from 40 to 60-year-old vines on the slopes surrounding the village of Cluzy in the western Hérault. The winemakers have tried every trick in the book to get these grapes ripe, choosing the oldest vines from the driest, sunniest sites, green harvesting to restrict the yields, and they've succeeded. Just. The moderate 12.5% alcohol on this shows just how hard it is to get Carignan properly ripe, even in the heat of the Midi. It's a deep ruby colour, which you'd expect given the grape's reputation. And on there's a lovely fresh nose of brambles. And behind that, dried figs, which is very characteristic of this grape. That's all supported by some subtle vanilla oak and a spike of some pungent dried herbs, garrigue as the French would say. On the palate it's clean and very crisp with black cherry fruit, also blackberries in there. More herbs, and there's a savoury note of black olives that comes through on the finish. Also on the finish you get the fairly firm tannins, but luckily, fortunately, these are fine and ripe and they contribute a pleasing hint of bitterness about the finish, which makes you go back and try it again. Very refreshing. This has excellent balance and shows skillful winemaking. The old vines have produced enough fruit concentration to balance the crisp acidity on this. And the winemakers have tamed Carignan's infamous tannins with restricted skin contact, careful use of oak, and most importantly, getting those grapes ripe enough. The result is a clean and savoury, food-friendly red that's very easy to drink a lot of. So it's perhaps just as well it's only 12.5%. Cheers.